It's 4 o'clock. The chair or the vice chair are here. At this point, I think there's an option that maybe we can select somebody. It looks like we have enough for a quorum, which is nice. But I did just to let you know, I did get a text message from Ariane saying that she is on her way. So we can get started if somebody would like to take charge of the meeting.
Let's start with a roll call.
We'll start over there on the far left.
Turn yours.
You're right. Harv Shabothi with the Coos Bay Downtown Association, although not representing that organization, representing myself as a interested citizen.
And as a Parks Commissioner.
Bill Davis.
Jared Schmidt. Jamie Faraday, Parks Commission.
Kurt Benward, Parks Commission.
Patrick Bringardner.
Greg Hemblett.
And Amy Edmond, City, Coos Bay.
Could I see
I don't know if there's any public comments.
Do we have any public comments this morning? No. Okay. First action item is the Oregon Bay Area beautification update.
Hello, everybody. I'm Katie Loy. I'm the treasurer for Oregon Bay Area Beautification, also known as OBAB. So I'm here to give my progress report for 2025. And all in all, so far, we've had 104 volunteers show up in the last couple months. That's 260 hours worked. That's about a quarter of a cubic yard of trash. 21.5 cubic yards of debris, including English ivy, Scotch broom, holly, and blackberry, and 5 cubic yards of mulch spread on trail. So in Coos Bay alone, which we did the Millicoma Marsh Trail in January, we had 56 volunteers show up on a rainy, sad-looking day, but it turned out pretty nice. And that was 140 hours worked, and that's 1.5 cubic yards of debris, including English ivy and blackberry, and we ended up getting 5 cubic yards of mulch spread on those trails. So where it was getting a little soggy and wet, we were able to help spread the mulch on there. And then our next 2 events coming up are going to be at John Toppit's Park. We hope it'll be a great turnout. We've had as low as 40 people and all the way up to 100 people show up. So with that one, we hope to clean up some garbage, possibly power wash the kayak launch there, pull some cut ivy and any Scotch broom, and I have noticed some holly, so we'll probably get that cleared up. And then I've asked the Parks Department what they would like to see, and then I'd also approaching you all to see what you would like to see in this next month's or April's.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I just want to acknowledge the work that they do. I know getting volunteers to continue to do that. We tried some cleanup efforts with the Downtown Association, just getting the volunteers there. We were lucky to get half a dozen, and you folks seem to do a much better job in terms of bringing the people out.
Thank you. I do the marketing and all that stuff, so.
I apologize if I missed this. Well, I am very loud. I apologize if I missed this. What are the demographics of the volunteers you normally you have? Like, what's
We
the age,
have, well, right now we have a baby on the crew, but she doesn't do much work, but she supervises her parents. But we've had kids and the elderly show up, and we try to make sure that we have a variety of projects that tackle a variety of tasks. So we'll have heavy duty stuff, which is going into the homeless camps and cleaning that up, and then we'll have light work like painting or just picking up some trash. We had great ones at the boardwalk where the kids could hammer the nails back in the boards, so that was really great. We try to make sure we have something kid-friendly every time, and we have certain rules and restrictions on what they can and cannot do, and try to make sure that they follow that. So it's open to everybody. We have a project for everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's open, I mean, the Bay Area, Coos Bay, North Bend, obviously. And I've seen kids there from early elementary school and through to, you know, us old folks.
Yeah.
And it works really well.
Surprisingly, they like to pull weeds and cut blackberries and do all that. I call it constructive demolition, because they're able to, you know, pull on those plants, pull them out, pull the weeds, pull the ivy. It's really good way to put their energy into something destructive with
Right.
a purpose.
We even had the city manager out there last time.
Yes, she regularly comes, though.
Yeah.
Yes. So I do want to mention about John Toppitz, since it is on your thing. John Toppitz is one of our OBAB's beloved places to help clean up and improve. So if the Parks Commission can make it its goal to improve John Toppitz, the better, because it's actually been one of our best turnouts is for John Toppitz. I also have a walking group, and a lot of people want to go to John Toppitz. So people are eager to visit this park and enjoy it. The kayak kiosk is a great thing. The camp post thing is a great thing. We have volunteers that go out there every day to help keep it clean. So it's a much-loved park, and I hope you guys take it in consideration for the future. That's it for me.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is appointment to adopt a Parks Committee, or, yeah.
Bill, if I may, I would like to maybe jump down to item D and just give an update until the chair can make it in before we take on action items B and C, if you'd like.
So jump down to D?
Jump down to D if that's okay.
Okay, parks-related projects and grants updates.
So as a ongoing commitment to the Parks Commission, staff will provide monthly updates on grants, capital improvement projects, and operations and maintenance projects to this commission. So I'll just run down. You guys have the list in the background in the staff report, and I can answer any questions that you may have pertaining to any of these topics. But just kind of start at the top. So John Toppitz Park, we are working our way through the Community Wild Risk Reduction Grant. Recently, staff has finished up one of the steps, and that was to create a work plan, and we provided that to the grantor. We have the agreement finalized with them, and now we're just waiting to work on getting a contractor scheduled to perform that work. The Mingus Park restrooms, we received the grant from the LGGP folks. We've gotten the agreement with them. That's a reimbursable grant, so right now we're working through the procurement for the prefabricated restrooms. So we're going to be working with the fabricator on that. So we're going to be doing that project. The Judith Ann Mogan Foundation, we were awarded $50,000 grant for that project from Judith Ann Mogan, so we're going to be utilizing that grant for a portion of the work as well. Those dollars have to be spent by the end of the year, so we're going to strategically use those dollars. We do have some other grants that we've applied for in association with the Mingus Park restrooms, but we're moving forward with those projects as well. The Front Street Improvement Project, the city has applied for the Oregon Community Pass Grant. We should hopefully be hearing something in May on the status of that grant application. The Mingus Park Community Hall building, The foundation stabilization project, we awarded the contract, I believe it was last month, to Terra Firma. So right now, we're just working through the contract piece with that. That project per contract has to be completed by May 31st of this year. So looks like we're all on schedule with that. And then tomorrow, we take that National Historic, or we take that building to the National Historic Register of Places, meeting up in Salem. I think Coco will be in attendance for that, and I think Christina will also be in attendance for a portion of that project. So just kind of jumping down the community or capital improvements project. I already talked about the restrooms at Mingus Park. The Safe Routes to School project is coming along nicely. Thank you for this body for providing guidance at the work session earlier this month. We passed those notes along to the to Alta Planning, and so they have all of our notes and the recommendations from the PMT and the Parks Commission. The Mingus Park Community Foundation Stabilization for the Boy Scout, or for the Community Hall building is underway. We already talked about that. City staff has installed the bike racks at the 3rd and Central parking lot and the Front Street parking lot. Want to talk a little bit about the Lower Lake road repair off of Ackerman. We suffered in December, we suffered a road damage that goes across the dam. The dam itself is fine. We've had that assessed, and the roadway, though, that was going across it failed. So we are working with a foundation engineer. They provided us some plans, and we're going to move forward with getting that road repaired. So getting that going. Operation and maintenance. We talked a little bit about the defensible space a little bit ago. Staff has just cleaned up at the end of Fulton, or at Fulton and Main Street, some unhoused encampments that were out there, very busy out there. Mingus Park trail cleaning staff was doing that, and then Christmas decorations are all removed from the city in preparations for next year and stowed for next year. So anyways, that's what we've been up to as city staff, working hard, trying to accomplish some small goals and some very large goals. So any questions on any of the stuff that we've been working on?
Just a recognition and appreciation on the bike racks you mentioned. You know, it's a wonderful effort that's being done for us by the Marshfield manufacturing class, and they have produced and continue to produce bike racks for us, but it was a question of how do we get those from the school and get them installed, and your folks stepped forward, picked those up, stored them, put them up within a week's time. That was very much appreciated.
So,
Thank you.
Greg, a question on the bike racks. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. I'm glad they got them in. Are they made so that they accommodate a lot of these wider wheels that we see on electric bikes?
So I don't think that they're designed to accept the wheels. I think
Okay.
they're designed to be parked next to
Okay.
and then locked up adjacent to, not parked directly into.
Yeah, and the intent, I think the students there are working on a new design there. There is an understanding that the present design wasn't always compatible depending on where the locations were. But the class, we turned the class loose to actually come up with a new design, and they're in the process of doing so. But once again, leaving the most of that effort in the students' hands. I think from our standpoint, we're looking at it, this is the kind of thing that they can feel good about, one of the contributions they can make to the community, and maybe in the long run, when they come back with their kids in 10 years, they can kind of say, yes, that was something that I was a part of. So But they are redoing a design on that.
So the planning group for the alpha planning, whatever, for capital improvements, my memory's not good, so two questions. One, project number one was the road that connected Madison and the school together for the buses to go through, is that right? Isn't that the one we picked?
Yeah, project one was kind of a multi-part project. If I remember correctly, I'm going strictly off of memory, but I believe project one included that interior
Yeah.
road that tied Madison and Sunset
Yeah.
inside the school property.
Yeah, inside the school property, because I remember that was being, the person that was here representing the school district, that was being a big priority of theirs. So I just couldn't remember. Do we have any idea when Alpha Planning is going to get back to us and say, here's what we've come up with and how much it's going to cost?
Alta,
Okay, I'm sorry,
Alta
thank you.
Planning. I don't have readily off the top of my head. Jennifer, did you recall a time frame? Did they give us a time frame? Yeah, we can find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just the last couple of, I love these spreadsheets with what's going on because it makes it a lot easier to know what's going on money-wise. But is there a reason the format is a little bit different from them? Because like on the Minkus Park restroom funding strategy, there's a Parks Capital column, but there isn't a corresponding column, anything like that, on the Mingus Park community building thing. And am I reading the Mingus Park restroom one right? The stuff that's in the Parks Capital is actually the stuff that's applied for that we haven't gotten yet. Is that right?
Yes. So
We
I
don't-
think this for the Mingus Park, yeah, they should mirror each other. I think this Mingus Park Community Building Funding Strategy, I think that was an old form. I think it just got in here by error. But yes, we do have a capital, we can provide that. We can email that to the commission tomorrow. But yes, you're absolutely correct. If you look at the Mingus Park Restrooms Funding Strategy, you'll notice that applied for and capital are mimic each other because we have applied for it, but right now it's unguaranteed dollars. So we are looking at, if we don't get those funds, the grant applications applied for, the dollars applied for, if we don't get those, they have to come out of Parks Capital.
Yeah, and it was more the formatting, because there's an in-kind from Mingus Park too, up in the top part, but we do the in-kind down in the bottom, which is fine, because it's a breakout. But I noticed that on the Mingus Park, and maybe I didn't do the math, so I could be wrong. The Mingus Park restroom funding strategy, that $107,000 we have applied for, is it included in that total way off to the side, the $572,000?
It is.
Yeah, but we don't do that for the Mingus Park Community Building, because there's 10,000 out there that's applied for, but we don't add it in and make it 84,000.
It,
It just gets confusing looking between them, because they
think-
don't do the same in both places.
Well, and I think part of that is because the Mingus Park restroom is more of a capital project, while the Mingus Park community building has been more of an adopt-a-park spearheaded project.
well, we're tracking them the same,
Okay.
so I can understand where the confusion is coming from. We can get some clarification on that and provide that.
Anyways, I still enjoy them. I think they're really good. It just says, when I look at them, I kind of got to make sure which way we're going. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Any additional commissioner questions or comments regarding Greg's report? No? Hearing none, we'll move forward. We'll jump back up. Did we do roll call?
Yes.
We did.
We already
Okay.
did those, and I
Okay.
want to thank you for volunteering for both those committees.
Oh, I know that you didn't do that part. You're not that fast. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate roll call, but, so I'm assuming we're going to roll on down to the Adopt-a-Park Committee, which Kurt has so generously offered to run.
Yeah, Ariel, we did action item A, and then we jumped down to D, so we still have B and C
Okay,
to
so
do.
we'll jump to B, the appointment to the Adopt-a-Parks Committee.
in June 2023, the City of Coos Bay Parks Commission established the Adopt Park pilot program. The fact-finding committee was always 3 members. We brought this to the commission at the January 16th Parks Commission meeting. It was requested to bring it back at this time. So if it pleases the commission, appoint a commissioner to the open position of the Adopt a Park fact-finding committee, or make a motion to move forward with a 2-member fact-finding committee.
Do we have anyone with interest in joining the Adopt a Parks committee?
The Adopt a Park group is who right now?
That would be me,
And
Carmen, Coco Sutton, retired recently. She was one of the first people I listened to when I got on this about 1.5 years ago. A font of knowledge. She was this driver of this fact-finding committee. Carmen and I helped out. But it was an amazing thing that was started, and it's grown. Coco right now, I think she's in Salem trying to get historic preservation designation for the community building scout cabin. So she's still working within the city as a volunteer. So she's not out of the picture, and she'd be happy to help out peripherally, but we either need to go with 2 members or 3, as we had.
So what's your recommendation? Do you need another one?
I don't need, well, I thought about that. There's 3 ways to go. Table it, go for 3, go for 2.
What kind of recommendation is that?
That's all I have.
all of the options and none of the options shall exist.
That's coming from a school
Yeah.
teacher.
Patrick, I saw some movement from you. Did you have some?
So what kinds of things are you working specifically on right now, or what's in the works?
The first 3 projects were the cabin, Toppit's Park dog waste system. Okay, what's the third?
The third was the John Toppit's Park trail maintenance.
That's right. Right, and we're still in the process of replacing some markers that have deteriorated and that mark where you are on the map, because there is a map for John Toppit's, but it's incomplete without the markers, and so those are in process as we speak. So those are the 3 things we've achieved the replacement through donations from the public that we got from 2 or 3 different sources, and so those are up. We've replaced all the dog waste bags with compostable rather than biodegradable plastic in the citywide. So that was a good achievement, just because we found that we could get it for as much cost, or as little cost as the plastic. So that was a big win. So that's the sort of things we've been working on. Doesn't have to be the extent of it, but and we're obviously still working on the community building and Toppit's.
Any other questions about the committee in general, and or volunteers to be the 3rd person?
I would be willing to volunteer.
Okay.
Patrick, if you guys don't mind, just bring the microphones a little bit closer. We want to hear when you volunteer. We want to really acknowledge that.
Yeah. We collect your DNA when you volunteer, so
And is there a time period that I would be a volunteer for? Or is it,
eternity.
It's a life sentence.
It's a lifetime opportunity to,
When we'll discuss it, but it's while you're here on the commission, as long as it's needed, as long as we have approved the project to go at least another year, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And so year by year, I think we'll be discussing it, and we can meet with Carmen when he gets back from Costa Rica.
Hearing no other volunteers, does someone like to offer a motion?
I would move that Patrick Bringardner be appointed to the Adopt a Parks fact-finding group.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a first and second. All those in favor say aye, or any further discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed, any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, thank you.
See. Now moving on to the appointment of the Bike and Ped Fact-Finding Committee.
So if you don't mind, I'd like to go through this staff report.
Yep.
So this topic is the commission will discuss the appointments to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Fact-Finding Committee. At the November 5th, 2024 council meeting, City Council adopted the bylaws of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Fact-Finding Committee. Per the adopted bylaws, the Bicycle and Pedestrian Fact-Finding Committee is to be 8 members. The committee will be made up by 2 Parks Commissioners, with the remaining members being members of the community. Members shall reside or have a business within the city limits. The city, for a minimum of 1 year, The city solicited for volunteer positions for a period of 2 months with advertisements on both the city's website and the Friday Updates Weekly newsletter. To date, the city has received 3 applications, and this is at the date of the writing of the staff report. 3 applications from members of the community for this committee. However, 2 of the 3 applicants are also applicants to the 2 vacant Parks Commission positions, so they may not be viable candidates for members of the community. And 2 of the 3 are here tonight. The commission can proceed with the formation of the committee with the vacancies on the committee until filled, or direct staff to continue advertising for applications or discuss other options. So if it pleases the commission, please provide a recommendation to staff to move forward with the committee with the 2 commissioners, members, and 1 community member, or direct staff to continue advertising for applications until more community members volunteer, apply, or provide another option.
And to clarify for the rest of the commission, the reason why we are capped at 2 commissioners is because we don't want it to be a de facto Parks Commission meeting.
Correct.
So there's a reason why that is why it is formed that way.
And I must confess, I was probably got the fly into the ointment in the sense that I originally applied and was looking at the citizen position, and then decided, well, maybe I'd like to do the planning commission as well. So
Sure.
I wound up applying for both and wound up with the planning commission. So, yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here, here on the commission. And I think, Patrick, you also applied for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee as well, Fact-Finding Committee as well. So we do have 1 other applicant, when I checked, when I wrote the staff report. So we have appointment of 2 commissioners, whoever they may be, and then the 1 community member.
And we already have commissioners established, right? Or do we need to vote again on the commissioners?
I think it was Jamie and Carmen, I think it was.
Yeah. So my understanding is we've advertised quite a bit for the Bicycle and Ped Fact-Finding Committee. We have gotten some results, but the question is, shall we just move forward with the people who have volunteered to this point, or continue to solicit?
I would recommend continuing until we find more public volunteers, just so that we don't lose sight, lose momentum of any sort. Obviously, we're a fact-finding committee, we aren't making decisions, we are bringing facts to the commission who will make those, excuse me, make those decisions. So would it be harmful to do it in that fashion? I mean, that was one of the options.
So what you're saying is appoint 2 members, have 2 members from the Parks Commission and the 1 volunteer, and just go ahead and start. Is that what you're saying, Jamie?
Yeah, do nominal
Yeah.
fact-finding, make sure the bylaws fit the task. And perhaps then our first task would be how do we get more public members involved so that we are well-rounded?
So Greg, I think that the question is, can the committee exist with the vacant positions and then fill those positions as they're advertised again next year? And then the committee could potentially fill vacant positions mid-year.
Sort of a hybrid.
I think the commission can move forward like that, yeah. Do I think that it meets the intent of getting a well-rounded view and different thoughts? I don't know, but I'd leave that to the commission to make that determination.
Yeah, I would support Jamie's recommendation for just going forward, because part of that job of the pedestrian and bike fact-finding group was to take some of the burden off of the Parks Commission and staff, and doing a lot of research work on stuff. And I think a lot of that could be started. And then I also think that maybe the 3 people that are on that fact-finding group could help in soliciting public members to join the group as well.
Of course, right now, it does not fit the bylaws, which says 8 members.
It's an intent to fill 8 members, but some of those can be vacant. We've existed as a Parks Commission with vacancies before, so.
Yeah, and I don't think in the bylaws that there is and I can look real fast, whether there's a requirement for a quorum.
They don't get to vote.
They're not
They're
voting
not
on
allowed to
anything.
vote. So no quorum is needed. The only main rule with the fact-finding committee is that it cannot participate with more than 2 Parks Commissioners. Other than that, it can operate within its bylaws.
Yeah, again, I'm going to take the broad view. I think we could do it with 3 people. I know the bylaws says, it shall consist of 8 members, but there's been a time really recently on this Parks Commission where we didn't have all the members for the Parks Commission, and that didn't mean we stopped until we filled those positions.
And I think the bylaws are saying that's a maximum number of members. So like let's just exist and operate, and then to keep it, because the conversation when we picked that number was to keep it from being too unwieldy. And so I think operating until you fill those positions is fine. But I need a motion,
Well,
unless you want to discuss further.
do we have any Parks Commissioners that want to volunteer?
They're already appointed. Are already
Cool.
appointed, unless we want to reappoint.
No, that's perfect. No. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, I would be happy to if the other 2 commissioners
If
that
they
are on
left.
there decide that, hey, they've got too much on their plate.
You just don't want to work with Jamie.
Because I know Jamie's been really involved in the Adopt a Park thing, as well as helping with cleanup and beautification and stuff. So, and Carmen's a busy city councilor. It's fine the way that it is, but if one of them decide that, they're busy, I would be happy to fill in, be an alternate. In fact, I would be happy, well, no, I couldn't. Well, I guess I could attend the meetings because can't have I took the public meeting law training, by the way.
Yes, I have not.
And as long as you don't have a quorum, it's okay. Isn't it not considered a public meeting?
It gets real gray real quick.
Yeah. I took the training.
And so I had applied for that same committee, but I had applied while I was still a member of the community.
Yeah, that doesn't work like that. Okay.
Nice try,
So
Patrick.
good. I appreciate a good loophole. So, but
Yeah.
like the outside of the box thinking there.
So at this point, we're asking the commission if we would like the committee to proceed as currently with the 3 people, continue to look for people at large, and, but let's get the ball rolling.
So move.
Second?
I have
Before you take the vote, I just
Yeah.
want clarification on the motion. Is the clarification that the city continue to advertise? Or,
Is it a cost or time burden to the city to do that, or would it?
I don't think it's much time at all. And
Okay.
I don't think there's a cost associated because it's on our city website, it's on our Friday updates.
Okay.
So I mean, we can continue to do that. I just wanted a clarification on the motion.
And it sets up a nice format for somebody to easily sign on.
Correct, I believe, and you guys can attest, is that the application is attached right there to the, so.
Okay. Great. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, future agendas and regular meetings and work sessions. For those new to us, you can see that you have this beautiful peach and green list. Some of the items we review pretty regularly, like Marshfield Cemetery and kayak updates. But then there's also other items that we discuss on there. Primarily, the next big item at our work session would be a discussion on funding sources. So that will be an opportunity to get the new members up to date on some of the conversations and then look at moving forward. That was a big part of the Adopt a Park project, was to help move some of these projects forward, as we know that capital is lean. Is there any items of discussion that we would like to potentially put on a work session or a commission meeting? Greg?
I see that on the, already scheduled for the March 6th is alternative funding sources, which I think is an important topic to continue carrying forward. One thing that I would like to maybe ask this commission maybe to consider would be at our parks and is maybe day pass parking permits, or day pass or parking permits.
Can you bring some information about that to
I
our work
most
session?
certainly can. I mean, I think it would be advantageous for us, maybe. It could be a possible funding source. So I could definitely bring some information on that,
Okay.
if the commission would like to talk about it.
We were talking about all potential funding sources,
Yes.
including my continuous plane of the Powerball, so. Any other items that we would like to have for a future discussion? Okay. We'll roll on down to staff and commissioner closing comments. Any staff closing comments?
I was still writing my notes, but yes, I do. First of all, thank you to the 3 new commission members who are joining us. Volunteering is always an important task for the city. It's always greatly appreciated. We have volunteers here, and then we also have volunteers in the audience that do great work for us. So we couldn't do it as a city without you fine folks doing what you guys do every day. So thank you and welcome, and I look forward to working with you over the upcoming year or years. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And just one note from myself, I sent an email, a confidential commissioner contact list, and if you could disregard that one and replace it with the one I have given you today, I would appreciate it. We had one change come in after the fact.
Can you tell me what the change is so I don't have to like look at it?
Yes, it would be our new commissioner, Jared Schmidt's email.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
My bad.
Yeah, because otherwise then I'll have to like go through and like look at everything. Because I for once actually put everyone's contacts in. I felt very, see, this is what happens when I'm efficient. So, perfect. All right, so we will move on down. Patrick, Commissioner closing comments?
Anything you have to say?
Okay,
I'm glad to be here and looking forward to working
Yay.
with each one of you.
all right, thank you. Kurt?
Thanks again for the folks that volunteered and applied to be on the Parks Commission. It's great to have you here. I did do the public meeting training, and I don't know if anybody else has. You know, it was scheduled for 2.5 hours, and it took about 2.5 hours. But surprisingly, I was dreading it. Surprisingly, it was not that bad. Maybe it's because these people have done it so much, they have it down to a science. They make you take a pre-test and little tests along the way to reinforce it. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And there were a few things that I didn't know or wasn't clear about, and it really helped. And particularly on serial communications, you know, not the kind you eat, but one after the other, because that can involve staff, you know, and sometimes we send in a suggestion to staff and we have to be careful about what happens there, who it goes to, and we don't do that. And then one is, if for anybody who hasn't taken it yet, I would appreciate if you listened to something I thought I heard that I think is crazy, and so maybe I heard it wrong, which was when we take minutes, since we do video recordings, like when we all just now said yes, in actuality, we have to record the individual members' names and when they vote, not just the fact, even when everybody votes the same and it's consensus, that you have to actually say it. So, you know, you would have had to have said, Ms. Chairperson, that, you know, Kurt Benward votes yes, Jamie, or whoever. We have to actually say that for the minutes. So, but I could have heard that wrong. Just saying.
Doesn't our system record that based on our microphone position? Yeah. So our position records that based on the microphone position. But if we were not in a recorded setting, like when we used to meet in other locations, like at the parks, then we would have to summarize that. But because of the software we use here, we don't have to.
So that includes the people that join the meeting online, as our commissioners sometimes do?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I think that was a big part of why all of our meetings are in here now, is so that we stay compliant.
Okay. I guess I won't have to report us to the ethics committee then. That's all that I've got. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, new commissioners, Harv, Jared, and Patrick, for joining us. This is going to be fun, more fun. I would just like to make a shout out to Greg, who helped our maintenance guy, Scott, at the Mingus Park pool bring the heat of the pool back up to temperature. It was a little chill for a while, but their perseverance won the day, and that is a special place to many of us, so thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Greg. Jared?
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to serve on this commission. I'm really looking forward to being more active in this community and alcohol home. And on a rather more humorous note, the dog bags, the biodegradable ones, that has not gone unnoticed as somebody who avidly walks their dog in Mingus Park. So thank you. It's the little things that go a long way, and not just for my dog.
Okay. Thank you. Bill? Good. Harv?
Real quick, again, thanks to Craig for helping on the bike racks and getting those up. That was great. And on the public meeting laws, I did wind up with a training session too and learned something. And I think we've seen that already tonight with this group. But with our organization, we have our board and then we have our operating committees. And didn't dawn on me that, my goodness, I've got to worry about our operating committees having too many board members on there, because all of a sudden that operating committee becomes a board if you've got if you meet that quorum. And unfortunately for our organization, we've done that more than once. So I did learn something from that session as well.
Because it can also violate your board insurance, your liability insurance. All right. Jennifer, would you like to say, no, you're good? Okay. I wanted to thank everyone for joining the commission. It's nice to have a full house. We have two members absent today, excused, of course, because they're both, well, one is in a much warmer location and one is in a freezing location. So very different picture responses there on that one. But I appreciate everybody joining the commission and participating. It's committees like this, and as Greg said, volunteers that really help push things, and always thank you to the staff, and so much that you do that goes unnoticed. And so we as a commission is kind of an opportunity to bring some, shine a light and bring some comment to what the staff does for us as well. So thank you so much. We're actually going to leave a few minutes early, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the Parks work session about funding sources. So bring your ideas and your concepts. We have a few that we've discussed, but if you have thoughts about other funding sources you've seen around the country, let us know. Thank you. And checkbooks. Bring your checkbooks. We are adjourned.